I saw a video the other day, some young scientist lady talking about how people just don't want to have sex as much anymore. Not interested in it. But then I see other videos about how in articles about how there's these young, angry men who are upset because they want to have sex with women and women don't want to have sex with them, and so they're involuntarily celibate and they hate women because they can't have sex with them. Well, that seems kind of self-defeating to me. And I keep thinking, how can I help these poor people? It was different. It was different when I was young. When I was young, when I was young, they had just discovered birth control pills and they had just discovered antibiotics. So we weren't afraid of STDs and we weren't afraid of getting pregnant. And so we were having lots of sex. Because they hadn't discovered AIDS and herpes and HPV. We just hadn't heard much about that yet. So we were totally free. We thought, man, we can have sex with a bunch of people and find just the right match and live happily ever after. Instead of this get married and make it work stuff that previous generations always had to do because they had to be responsible because they didn't want to bastardize their children. So the 60s and 70s were wonderful in terms of sexual freedom. And what we learned from that was you could have sex with 100 people and not find somebody that was the ultimate match who could give you mutual sexual satisfaction. It was very disappointing, I was having women's groups for a while, and one of the most common things that women were upset about was, I can have orgasms easily by myself, but I can't have orgasms with my boyfriend. What is wrong with me? Well, I went through that too. I thought, what, is God a practical joker? Is there something wrong with my body? Is he just not a skillful lover? Well, I don't think any of that was true. I think it was because I was a romantic person, and what turned me on enough to trust somebody enough with my body was believing that this man wants to spend the rest of his life with me. This man wants to marry me and have children with me. That was what felt like such an honor, that my sexual pleasure was increased enough for me to have an orgasm too. Otherwise, I was reserved and holding back. And I wouldn't want to encourage a man to pretend and tell women, I want to get married and have children, if it's not true about the woman you're making love to. I guess you could say, well, I want to get married and have children, and you could be window shopping and trying women on for size, looking for the one, and she thinks you're complimenting her and saying you think she's the one you want to marry and have children with, and then she starts having orgasms with you, and then you find somebody else who's a little prettier, or got bigger boobs, or is a little more conservative, or made you wait until after you made a commitment, or, all the things that these dynamics that go on in relationships that cause people to think about whether or not they're with the person they actually want to marry. And if I better speak for me, if I trusted somebody enough and thought that he meant he wanted to marry me personally and have my children, for me to be the mother of his children, and then I found out he just meant in general somebody, and he was looking for the one he wanted to do that with. And I'd been having orgasms with him, and then turned out he didn't want to be with me after all. That would be extraordinarily painful. That's why women then, the next go round, refuse to do it without a ring on their finger. I mean, that kind of thing will make you change the way you behave in relationships. And then men are mad because women are trying to manipulate them into a commitment. And then the other side of that is, if he's willing to commit, well, what if you're not sexually compatible with him and he committed, and then you owe him sex that doesn't feel right, and you don't think there's any hope of you ever having an orgasm too, and then he's committed, and then you feel you have a responsibility and a duty to stay in it because it's so complicated. Getting it right, getting the situation right so that love can happen, real love can happen. Not this dutiful stuff that we call love, but real love. And is romantic feelings for someone even love, or is that just a fantasy? I mean, it doesn't seem like it happens very often to me that both people feel romantically towards each other simultaneously, mutually. Sweet little dog. She loves me as much as I love her. Yeah. The thing that makes my heart grow fonder and fonder is a sense of mutual respect, intimate conversations, vulnerability, truthfulness, trust, willingness to extend ourselves in ways that are meaningful to each other. Doing fun things together like dancing and massage, and having the same kind of dietary choices, and if people invest some time doing that, it's more likely that romantic love can grow between them. And then I've had women tell me, I'm so tired of becoming a man's best friend and getting to know him, and sharing all of our interests, and then going to bed with him and finding out I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So having skill in bed is important too, both for men and women. That men don't want to get stuck with somebody who's a cold fish, and I've had men say I'm a cold fish, that I'm frigid when I'm just waiting for inspiration. I'm just waiting for it to get good so that my response becomes involuntarily enthusiastic, and I will become involuntarily enthusiastic when it gets good. So then we start blaming each other. You're the cold fish. Well, you're not an inspiring lover. You got to communicate about that too. A lot of people say, I work all day. I don't want to have to come home and give a massage at night. You want a massage of the inside of my vagina, though. And release all your tension in me and leave me frustrated because there wasn't enough romance and intimate conversation to turn me on enough to thrill me. I just felt like I had a duty to accommodate. It's so complicated getting relationship right. Anyway, that's what's on my mind tonight, and I hope we can figure it out and we can start conceiving children out of planned relationship that is loving and mutually respectful, instead of children accidentally happening to us and then we're stuck with them because the Republicans took away abortion. And I'm pro-life. I mean, I wouldn't want to get an abortion, but I think it would be better to do that than to bring a child into a relationship with a man who resented me and resented having to be a parent. And I mean, so much abuse goes on when children are not conceived in love and wanted and planned for and well cared for. Every child deserves to be conceived in love. What kind of a world would this be if all children had loving, respectful homes instead of poverty and abuse? The world would be so different. I hope we can do that. I hope our species can, the human species, is it species or species? I hope humanity can become more highly evolved than it is now. Oh my goodness, I've already talked 14 minutes. I can't believe how long these videos are turning out. I thought I might talk 2 or 3 minutes and I'm making 15, 20-minute videos. Good Lord. My name's Gail. I'm a retired naturopath, certified sexologist, used to manage vitamin stores. I've done yoga for 30 years. Would love to have your comments, ideas, suggestions, questions. Like and subscribe if you like and want to subscribe. Love you. Bye.